Ricco is demonstrating a bent over barbell row. He's got his feet planted about shoulder width apart, his knees slightly bent, and his back is going to be nice and straight, bending at the waist. And on the concentric phase, he's doing elbow flexion. On the eccentric phase, he's doing elbow joint extension. Ricco is demonstrating a bent over one arm dumbbell row. He's got his left arm, his left hand and knee planted on the bench, and his right foot is on the floor with a slight bend in his knee. His back is nice and straight. On the concentric phase, he's doing elbow flexion, shoulder extension, and on the eccentric phase, he's doing elbow extension and shoulder flexion. Yeah. Ricco is demonstrating a bench press. On the concentric phase of the bench press, he's making sure the bar doesn't come above his face. And on the eccentric phase, he's bringing the bar down to his chest, about his sternum. He's got a nice setup. His feet are planted firmly on the floor. His hands are at a nice width. So Ricco is demonstrating chest flies. He's got a nice platform with his feet solidly on the ground. And what's happening here on the concentric phase is shoulder joint adduction. On the eccentric phase is shoulder joint adduction. He's got a slight bend in his elbows. Ricco is demonstrating a push-up. He's doing a good job of making sure his back, his tailbone, and his head are in a nice straight line. He's got his hands about shoulder width apart. So Ricco is demonstrating a shoulder press. He's got his feet about shoulder width apart with a slight bend in his knees. And on the concentric phase of the press, he's bringing the bar above his head and pushing his chin out to the window.
Riley is performing a seated cable row. On the concentric movement, his elbows are in flexion and shoulder joint extension. On the eccentric movement, his elbows in extension and shoulder joint flexion. He has to keep his spine erect, which he is doing a good job at, and he don't want his torso to move at all. Riley's about to perform a horizontal row. Notice his grip, supinated. The concentric phase, the shoulder joint is in extension, elbow joints are in flexion. On the eccentric phase, shoulder joint is in flexion, elbow joint extension. You got to keep a straight line, keep his butt nice and tense, tuck his bum. Riley is going to perform a pull-up. Notice his grip pronated. In the concentric phase, his shoulder joint is in abduction. Eccentric phase, his shoulder joint is in adduction. The concentric phase, his elbow joint is also in flexion. And the eccentric phase, his elbow joint is in extension. Now Riley is going to perform a chin-up. Notice his grip, supinated. On the concentric phase, the shoulder joint is in extension. Eccentric phase, shoulder joint is in flexion. On the concentric phase, his elbow joint is in flexion also. And on the eccentric phase, his elbow joint is in extension. Riley is about to perform frontal raises. Notice his feet are hip width apart. He is slightly bent. On the concentric phase, his shoulders are in flexion. In the eccentric phase, shoulders are in extension. Riley is about to perform lateral shoulder raises. Feet hip width apart, knees slightly bent. Concentric, the shoulders are in shoulder joint abduction. Eccentric, his shoulders are in shoulder joint adduction.